Welcome to Beyond the Mom Life, the podcast where motherhood and the business world collide, with your host, Heather Ioerger.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Mom Life podcast. Today, I am joined by Lindsay York, founder and owner of Joyful Solutions, LLC. She is an expert at organic lead gen on the socials, and she has come today to share with us a wealth of knowledge when it comes to getting leads through the use of social media. And not only that, but talking a little bit about what her life looks like as a mom, busy mom, that is, and a business owner. Welcome today, Lindsay.
Hi, so happy to be here.
We truly appreciate you being on. I know that everyone is going to just get such a wealth of knowledge from you, and we're just super excited to have you on today. So, you have owned your own business for how long now?
Oh goodness, almost 6 years. Oh,
Almost 6 years.
yes.
Wow. And you have a house full too. You have a house full of kids. You homeschool. That is just amazing to me that you can own your own business, homeschool. You have a couple special needs kids as well. You have a kiddo going off to college next year. You do it all, girl. Share with us some wisdom. How do you do it all?
It's a lot. I live and die by my calendar. That is
Yeah.
that is my fallback for every single thing that I do. If it's not scheduled, if it's not planned, it's not going to happen. And so that is a necessity. I am not a spontaneous go with the flow kind of person. It has to be planned. I have to know what I'm doing, where I'm going, what time I need to be there, who needs to come, what do they need to bring with them. So organization is kind of my jam. That is how I live. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of moving pieces, but so important, I guess. My kids are older, so they're 17, 15, and 13. Um, and one of the things that we've tried to be really intentional about with them as well is bringing them into some of that organization as well. So everybody has the calendar app on their phone. Everybody can see, where are we going? Who's supposed to be there? It's all color coded. They know what events on there belong to them. So trying to, be proactive, teaching them these skills, but also it's a bit of survival for myself, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have space in my brain to remember what time is your practice and what time do you need to leave and what do you need to bring with you and what do you need to eat before you go and did you finish your homework before you head out the door. So yeah, it's we are very much a calendar and schedule kind of family.
I love that, and truly organized. I think that is definitely a big piece of your puzzle. So, with that being said, I loved what you said about, don't forget your shoes, don't forget your water when it comes to practice. So, is that stuff you throw in on the calendar? Like, it's practice, don't forget this. Do you do all that?
A bit. So we have a few different ways.
Yeah.
We all have, the Google Calendar app. It's a shared app between all of
Free?
us. It's wonderful. Yes, free, nice and easy. We also have a whiteboard out in the middle of the living room. Everyone can see it. Who has what event and what thing. And along with that are some checklists. So on that whiteboard, that's where I include, practice, shoes, practice jersey, water bottle, smoothie for the car, all the things. So it's kind of listed out, if you're going here, choir practice, you need your binder, you need your music, you need all this stuff. So that way they know, okay, practice means I need these things with me before I get in the car to leave. So it's giving them the visual because they're still kids. I think a lot
Yeah.
of times, as working moms who are home most of the
Yeah.
time, we just kind of assume our kids are seeing us do this, so they'll do it. And then I get in the car and I'm like, we're going to ballet. Why don't you have your shoes? Why is your hair not done? Why is this? And then I have to remind myself, she's 13. She's
Yeah.
she's she's not wired to think that way yet. So trying to build in as much help along the way, checklists that are really visible, calendar that pops up reminders for them, just things that I can do to help teach them those habits and kind of what that looks like to prepare for things so that later in life, maybe they will just do it themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. So you really are instilling a value in them that's really going to help them in their future, learning to be better organized, learning to be proactive for themselves. I
Yes.
love the idea of putting that on a whiteboard because you're really teaching them exactly the things that they need to know, right? Moving forward is okay, don't forget this, but you're not constantly having to hound them either. I think as
Right.
moms, so many times we're constantly hounding our kids. Did you remember this? Did you remember that? But you're actually giving them a tool to
Right.
use that you don't have to hound them. So I absolutely love that advice. So, y- you know, kind of turning this around and talking a little bit about your business here. So when it comes to your business, is this what you're using for yourself as well in your business? And do you think that this method for you really stemmed from owning a business?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Whether it's been business before that, it was, we serve full time in our church. That's a huge
Mm,
part of our life. So we're organizing vacation Bible school and summer camps and all these things. And having that, okay, we have to be at this place by this time. So working backwards from that, what are all the steps
yeah.
that have to happen leading up to that? Same exact thing with business. We have our team meeting this afternoon at 2 o'clock. So, what are the things that I need to prepare before I get on Zoom for that team meeting? Or, a master class on Friday? What are all the steps that have to happen before we go live for a master class Friday so that it's all getting done ahead of time? And then I am very very, I don't know, maybe hyper scheduled in some ways with
Yeah.
little like 15-minute increments on my calendar of like, do this, then do this, then do that. Because as a mom, I don't have the brain space to remember all of that in my head all the time. If it's not written down somewhere where I can just, write it out, forget about it, and move on to the next thing so that next time it pops up, hey, here's what you need to do for this. Like, oh,
Yeah.
cool, great. I'm glad I organized that for myself. So now I know what to do. But I don't have to keep it all in my head because that's how moms go crazy when every schedule and mental load and thing is stuck in your brain. That is the fastest path to burnout as a mom, especially as a business owner and a mom. That's how you're going to drive yourself down.
I could not agree with that more. I can't tell you how many times my husband says to me, "You forgot this again? What how did you forget this again?" And I'm thinking, "Do you know how much stuff that is stored inside my head right now and it doesn't shut up?" So, yes, I did forget it. I forgot it. However, it's okay. We will move on. It's not the end of the world situation. So, I totally get that and I love that. So, as a homeschooling mom, tell me a little bit about what does your day look like as a homeschooling business owning mother? That's a lot.
It is a lot. Thankfully, my kids are older, so they're pretty self-sufficient now. We've been homeschooling for 11 years. My son's a junior, so started from the beginning. So that was a lot, and in the beginning, it's a little bit obviously more intensive. They need you a lot more. There's a lot more one-on-one time, but the benefit of that when they're younger is homeschooling really doesn't take that long. So we could finish a day of school in, an hour or so and then be done for the rest of our day. Now that they're older and where we're at, location-wise, they have a lot of options for homeschooling. So my kids actually go to a school 2 days a week. It's kind of like a homeschool, private school hybrid thing. So they're there every Monday and Wednesday, and then they're home the rest of the day. So, while they're home, I don't usually sit at my desk like I am today. I'm usually out on the couch with a laptop so that I can be available if questions come up as they're working through their day and their classes that they need to get through. So that's kind of how we manage that. My husband is also home full time. So between the two of us, one of us is just tries to be available as we can during the day while they're home. But it also frees us up for a lot of extra things. So, being able to work, being mobile, being able to grab a laptop and go. We can work from the car while they're at practice. We can, work from the gym while they're running up and down a basketball court, whatever we need to do. So it's that part of it is pretty flexible. We just know who's going where, what do we need to bring, how's this working. For our kids, though, it's freed up so much of their time. One of the things I love is they're getting to see this lifestyle and how
Mm,
adaptable and flexible we can be with our time and what we're doing. So I know if my son's at practice for 2 hours, I can work for those 2 hours while he's in the gym. He's getting things done. And then when we're home, I can put my computer away and I can spend time with the family. So being able to kind of adapt our hours and how we're doing that has been really helpful. And it helps them see, okay, Tuesday's my day off of school. I don't have to be in the classroom that day. I have to get schoolwork done because I'm at home, but they can be flexible. So he works a couple days a week during the day. He's gone to work all day. He comes home and does his schoolwork at night. So it's been nice to see them learn those kind of adaptable, flexible schedules as well, because I do think that's kind of the future and the way the job market's going.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, it absolutely is. So it's amazing to be able to have the ability to teach your kids these skills of being able to own your own business, work from home. And that's really one of the biggest things that I feel that people say on this podcast is to them, that's
Yes.
one of the most incredible, rewarding aspects of doing a business like this.
Oh, yeah.
So your business, you are pretty much full, you have a full-time client that you spend pretty much all your time working for, which is the GroupTrack CRM. And within that company, you are helping them with organic lead gen on Facebook, Instagram. What are some big tips you can give to our community that maybe they're wanting to figure out, okay, how do I do organic lead gen? I don't just want to pay, or they may not have the money yet to be paying for ads. They may need to just go out there, find leads. Maybe they're creating their own business. What is the biggest piece of advice that you can give them how they can obtain their goals?
Yeah, at GroupTrack, they've never paid for ads. We've been a company for going on 4 years now, never paid for ads when bringing in over $1 million a year. So it's absolutely doable. I think that's my first piece of advice is a lot of times you hear, okay, I'm going to try to do business on Facebook. So I'm going to set up a business page and then I'm going to run a bunch of ads and do that. And it's okay. That's fine. But that's an expensive lesson that a
Yeah.
lot of people learn that isn't really necessary. There is such a huge potential on Facebook. It's free. Everybody's there. As much as we all like to bash it and say, "Oh, nobody wants to be on Facebook. I don't want to do business on Facebook." Everybody's there. When you sit down and you pull up your phone, you're going to scroll on Facebook. That's just how we
Yes.
are as a
Yes.
society. So it makes sense. And I think, whether you're just starting out and you're at, the tiny dollars a month, or you're pulling in, thousands, being organized with what you're doing and being intentional with your time. Those are the biggest two things that I love about GroupTrack, because before GroupTrack, it's actually a funny story. So before GroupTrack launched, I was running a webinar. I had a course that I had built on how to homeschool. It was the summer of 2020. Everybody was panicking. Our school's going to open. Should I homeschool my kid? What am I supposed to do? So I created this little mini course on how to know, should I homeschool or not? It went viral. I was on the news. It was crazy. Started a Facebook group for it. I think it was, I don't remember how many hundreds of people joining within like 3 days, joining that group.
Wow.
And it was so unorganized. It was chaos. It was, click approve. Who's this person? Did I get a screenshot of their things? How am I supposed to remember this lead and who they are and where they came from and what do they need and what information should I send them? It was wild. And so I feel like a lot of times that's how we operate. We're just so happy and thankful to get those leads when we're finding them, like, yeah, people are joining my group and it's great. But if you don't have a strategy and a process for what to do with them, you're going to lose them. And so I think that is what I love about GroupTrack is that's all built in. You get the full strategy of exactly what to do with them, what steps to take, what's the next thing I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to send a message and uncover what their needs are. So as a mom and a homeschool mom, a busy mom, a working mom, all those hats that you wear, the last thing I want to do again is have to remember everything during the day. And so what I love about GroupTrack is it just tells me what to do. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to
Wow.
remember what message am I sending this person? What's the next step I'm supposed to take with this person? It's just all built in for me. So it's such a time saver for one, because we don't have a lot of time. We're a little busy here. But two, it is a brain saver. I don't know if that's the right word, but I don't have to think. I don't have to remember what was the message? What am I supposed to say? What did I say last time? That was a good message. Who did I send that to last time? It's all tracked in there for me, so I don't have to remember any of it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So essentially, you spend most of your day working through the tool, right? You work the system for your client, which is actually GroupTrack. So the owners of GroupTrack, that is who you work for and
Right.
using their system. And so you are actually able to take leads through a series of events that is kind of mapped out within the system, right? And then you're able to kind of turn them into clients for GroupTrack, right? That's amazing. So what are some of the biggest things that you do within that system? Because people would wonder, okay, so the system's there, but what is it that you're doing? Are you having conversations with people? Where are you finding these people? How are you doing all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, people typically with GroupTrack, the way that they have their strategy built is we're driving them into our Facebook group. So, the CEO of GroupTrack, she does a lot of trainings, partner trainings. We have a very strategic kind of weekly thing that we're doing each week to drive more engagement and leads coming into our Facebook group. We work our email list. That's a big part of that we use to, you know, also get people to come into that Facebook group based on, what are we training on this week? What's the need? What's the next step in the process that we want to nurture our leads through? So we do a few things to drive traffic into that Facebook group. And then once they're in there, yes, that is where I take over. So when those new leads come into that group, we work them through our exact process. It's the same process at GroupTrack that we teach our customers to do. It's a very, high touch, white glove kind of concierge thing because it's social media. I think a lot of times people they're either very programmed to think traditional CRM or they've never done this before. And so it's traditional CRM, you might look at it in your stages or your things that you're moving your leads through are like, contacted, booked, scheduled, lost, won. And it tells you kind of what action that person's taken. But social media is very different. And the point of it is to be social. So our process is built a little bit differently because of that. So yes, we are sending messages to them. My whole goal is to get into a messenger conversation with you because I know if I do that, there's, it's more intimate. It's a conversation that you're having with someone. It's a lot easier to uncover what are you working on? What's your biggest struggle with this? Hey, we have a training about that. I would love to give you some information or some help with that. Is that something you can do on your own? Do you want help getting that done? It's a much more intimate kind of setting than just, an email CRM or something like that, where it's a bit more on blast. So that's what I do. I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and we are very intentional on how we interact with them. And the CEO of GroupTrack and myself, we were at an event in Dallas a couple months ago, and this man walked by. We were sponsoring it. We had a table up with all our like signage and stuff. And this guy walked by, and we were like, "Wait, we know you. You are a customer." And he was blown away by the fact that like we knew who he was. We knew his name. We knew he had been a customer and he had canceled, and just the amount of information that we know because it's a social media CRM and you're able to really get intentional with how you're, organizing people and interacting with them. It just makes such a huge difference. And that fits so much better with my personality than, closed, one, hot, cold, those kind
Yeah.
of markers of customers.
I love that. So you're not hiding behind the scenes. You're actually out there meeting
Right.
people, doing the thing. I think that is one of the biggest myths out there is when you're on social media, people think that you could just post. You could just
Yeah.
post here and there and leads are just going to just start coming in from wherever. It just doesn't happen like that. You need to be social. That is what social media is all about. Being social, getting out there, you're not just selling the product. I feel like you're selling yourself as well. People want to know you. They want to know what you're all about. And so you out there actually talking with them, I've heard it multiple times. People have said to Jenna, the owner of GroupTrack, I need a Lindsay in my life. I need a Lindsay because you're out there selling yourself. And I love that. People love you for it as well.
Mhm.
So that's just amazing, the things that you've been able to do with GroupTrack. And I feel like GroupTrack and owning your own business has done a lot for your family. Previous to owning your own business, do you feel like you would have had the opportunities for your family that you have now after owning your own business?
No, absolutely not. I was the stay-at-home mom for many, many years. I worked in corporate. That's where I
Nice.
started. Straight out of college, I was a corporate accountant, worked there until I had my second child and then went out on maternity leave and my job was not there when I returned, so that was nice. So I became a stay-at-home mom full time and that was totally new. Had a lot to learn about that world and it was great. It was wonderful while it lasted. And then unfortunately, the economy and the things that we're going through as a country right now, we started talking a bit about how it's probably going to need to do something to bring in some extra. And I knew I didn't want to leave my kids. I didn't want to have to go to a job and go somewhere. And so it was just such a great fit to be able to find something that I can do from home that fits my strengths and what I'm
Yeah.
good at and what I enjoy doing that I can do from home. And it has opened up so many more doors for our family as far as, what we can experiences and things that we can give our children, the lifestyle that we have to be able to come and go and do kind of what we want when we want to work on the road. The summer of 2020, we road tripped the whole family from Texas up to Washington and spent a few weeks with my parents up there and worked out of the car. I did interviews for my homeschool course from the parking lot of a Walmart in Amarillo, Texas.
Oh
Just,
my goodness, I love that.
you know, just
Love that.
it's such a different life and I absolutely love it. And the really unique thing here is, my job is very flexible. It's, owning your own business. It's entrepreneur life. It's great. My husband's job is very corporate. He works for the government, so it's very structured there. And so I love that our kids get to see both sides of this. They can see what does it look like to work for somebody, to have those set hours and pay grades and expectations and all of those things. And then they can see the entrepreneur side where, you know, it's a bit more free and it's a bit more work when you can and when you want to, but it's also a bit more, I have to buy my own computer and I have to pay for my own
Yeah.
services and things. I have to budget and those things. So they're getting to see the best of both worlds with that. And I love that they get to see both of those paths as they're heading off to college and finishing high school to be able to help them decide what kind of life do they want going forward. So it's been really
Yeah.
rewarding to offer that.
I love that. So what are you finding that they're choosing? What are they thinking about?
Well, true to their personalities and nature and all those stereotypes, our oldest is very set on he wants to go to college. He knows exactly what he wants to major in. He's got a path set there. My middle daughter is thinking she might want to do something more at home. She really loves seeing what I do. She sits next to me a lot of the times when I'm working on the couch on my laptop and she'll watch things and she's so cute. She's 15 and she'll say like, "Hey, I think I could do that." Like,
Aw.
I think you could too. So we've been talking actually a lot about what it means to be a virtual assistant and what kind
Yeah.
of work you do and what kind of things you would be able to do. And she loves that. So she is kind of set right now on taking that path and maybe not doing college, which
Yeah.
I think is a big change in their generation right now. So yeah, they're very, very split right now.
Yeah, I love that. So they've been able to make their own decisions. You're not forcing them into anything. You're letting them be the person who they truly are, but they've learned from you and your husband, right, along the way. And I think those are just amazing, amazing things that they've picked up along the way for sure.
Oh
That's
yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
I think the
Yeah.
days of go to college and get a good job are kind of over. So it's being able to show them
Right.
these other options has been very rewarding.
Right. It just uh, changes in generations. They're able to actually figure out what they want to do for themselves and not what they have to do for themselves. I
Right.
think that's such a different way of thinking. Back when, we went to school, it's like we felt like, okay, we have to do this. There's no other choice. Like you go to college, you get your job, that is the game we play. But
Right.
now we have figured out that is not the case. You don't
Right.
have to go to college as long as you are going to be on a path that you grow as a person, you're able to raise your family the way you want to raise them. I think
Mhm.
that's incredible. So, thank you so much, Lindsay, for joining us today. I feel like you brought us so much value that people can learn so much from you that it's okay. You can go get organic leads from Facebook. Obviously, we talked about the GroupTrack CRM today. We will be putting a link to that in the show notes. Is there anything else you want to add? Any way that they can get a hold of you if they have any questions about GroupTrack or about something that you do in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. The group chat community on Facebook is the best place to go. I'm the person that welcomes you into that community. So if you join, you'll get a message from me. But aside from that, I also run our certification program. So, outside of the CEO role as more of a support role in my business and what I do, I help certify our virtual assistants and team members on GroupTrack. So if anybody has questions about, how do I not run an entire, GroupTrack level kind of business, but how do I support somebody? How can I come be a virtual assistant and support, people who are doing GroupTrack or prospecting on social media? That's a fantastic program just to learn about how you can do that from the support level side as well.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And all that information will be in the show notes as well. So thank you so much, Lindsay, for joining us. And until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and let's soar beyond the mom life together.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Beyond the Mom Life with Heather Ioerger. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.